Hello students, welcome to this video lesson on the volume supernote part 3. In this section, we'll be dealing with the oblique prism. Okay, so what is an oblique prism? Well, an oblique prism is a tilted prism as opposed to, let's say for example, the rectangular prism, which is a right prism, which is not tilted. So if you look at this 3D model here, you can see that this prism looks a little bit different because the face of it looks like what kind of shape? Well, it's a parallelogram. So if you think about a rectangular prism and then you kind of pushed the top of it to the side, this is kind of what results. So I want you to imagine, let's talk about method 1. So let's focus on the base of this prism. So either we look at this prism from the top or we look at this prism from below. Now, knowing that these are the dimensions, this is probably what it would look like if we were to construct this out of linking cubes. Okay? So now that you know what the base looks like, let's calculate its area. Remember, for method 1, we always need to know the area of the base. So this shape, in this case, is a rectangle. So let's start with our calculations for area of a rectangle. Now this is pretty simple, so hopefully you can stay way ahead of me. So the formula for area of a rectangle is base times height, or the formula we used last year in grade 6 is length times width. All right. Line 2 is our information line. Base equals 6 centimeters. Height equals 2 centimeters. Substitution line, area equals 6 centimeters times 2 centimeters. And then our calculation line, 6 times 2 is 12. And remember, when we're talking about area, it has to be units squared, 12 centimeters squared. We don't need a therefore line because we want to eventually calculate for the volume. So we're not finished the question yet. Now, let's focus on its height. So let's look back at this diagram. So imagine that this actually would have 3 layers of this. If we were to construct this out of our linking cubes, we would have to build it 3 times on top of each other because we have a height of 3 centimeters. So let's use the formula that we've used for method 1, and that is volume equals area of the base times height. Well, the area of the base, we know, we just calculated, is 12 centimeters squared. And the height, we got a good clue here. There are 3 layers, so the height is going to be 3 centimeters. Let's go to our substitution line. Volume equals 12 centimeters squared times 3 centimeters. And our calculation line, 12 times 3 is 36. And remember, when we're talking about volume, the units are always cubed. So we've calculated the volume, which is what our initial goal was. So let's write our therefore statement. Therefore, the volume of this prism, we could have called it oblique prism. The volume of this prism is 36 centimeters cubed. Don't forget your units. Okay, so let's go on to method 2. Now, an oblique prism is very similar to a rectangular prism, except it's just tilted or slanted over. So it would make sense that we could probably use the same formula as a rectangular prism. So volume of an oblique prism equals, we can do length times width times height, or we can call it base times height times depth. Okay? Now, just like in the last tutorial, all you have to remember is that this, the length and the width, or the base and the height, are the base layer of your prism. That's this thing right here. Okay, so you've got to imagine looking at this prism from either the top or the bottom. As long as you keep that in mind, then everything will be fine. So, length, let's look up here. That's why it's nice to have a diagram of the base. The base, the length was 6 centimeters. The width was 2 centimeters. And the height, how many layers did it have? It had 3 centimeters, 3 layers. So that's our information line. Okay? Now, you can mix these numbers up and still get the same answer, but you need to prove to me that you understand what dimensions go with the base of that prism and what is the height. All right, so let's go to our substitution. Volume equals 6 centimeters times 2 centimeters times 3 centimeters. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. So I do the numbers first, and then I put in the units. The units are centimeters, and volume is going to be cubed. So we calculated the volume, so let's write our therefore statement. Therefore, the volume of this prism is, and we look here, 36 centimeters cubed. And of course, this answer is going to match this answer because we're essentially calculating for the same question. Okay, so this concludes this video lesson on the volume of oblique prisms. Thanks for watching. Bye.